Welcome to this episode of the Sports Detective Podcast Show. My name is James Williams, and today, what if I told you Joel Embiid's knee is way worse than you think? So, before I tell you guys the new insight that we know about different types of procedures or surgeries that the Sixers and Joel Embiid are looking into on how to fix his knee, I'll first kind of catch you up to date on what is going on with Joel Embiid and his knee. So Shams Charania reported a few days ago that the Sixers and Joel Embiid have been meeting and consulting with several different doctors trying to figure out how to fix his knee. This is the same knee injury that was injured about a year ago at this time. He had a surgery on it, and basically it has not recovered since then. So basically, there's kind of like several different options that they can do. There's several different types of surgeries. There's several different types of things where he may not need surgery. And that's basically kind of the dilemma that the Sixers and Joel Embiid are in right now. But one of those surgery options that Joel Embiid may undergo, or it's at least an option, is absolutely kind of devastating to read the description of it. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you guys this snippet from an article in the Philadelphia Inquirer about Joel Embiid's knee, and one of these procedures that they mention here is absolutely, in a way, it's kind of heartbreaking. Joel Embiid could undergo undergo a meniscus replacement procedure, or a procedure where doctors break a bone in the hip to realign the joint and alleviate pressure, per Philadelphia Inquirer. The same Sixer who made orbital bone fracture and navicular bone fracture common phrases in Philadelphia sports lexicon. He's had two of each. Might soon add to these: meniscus replacement, low-dose radiation therapy, or even the ominous sounding osteectomy. I think I pronounced that right. Osteectomy? Whatever. In which doctors break a bone in the hip to realign the joint to alleviate pressure. One source called the procedures radical in light of the mundane injury and surgery that brought Embiid to this point. For some reason, what should have been a routine rehab and a routine return to play has gone horribly wrong. Okay, there's another snippet, because I actually I got a subscription to the Philadelphia Inquirer. That's why I need you guys to subscribe, because I'm going the extra length here to try and give you guys the best information. And maybe one day I can start making money off this, because we're kind of in the hole with this show. Not that much in the hole, but we're in the hole a little bit. So this is the other snippet from that article in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Doctors with whom the Inquirer spoke over the past few weeks say that some of these procedures require 6 months to a year before an athlete can return to full action, and that any return will invariably come with long-term limitations. So to kind of explain what that means, basically, if he's going to have another surgery, he's probably going to be out for all of next season, is what I take away from that. If he's out for a year, let's say and the thing is, they don't know what they're going to do yet. They might decide in a month from now. They might decide 2 months from now. They don't know what they're going to do yet. It's not something where it's like he's going to have a surgery in the next week, because there's just so many different options to kind of like weigh here with how to treat his knee. So that means that next year probably is going to be a complete wash for the Philadelphia 76ers. And also, the reason I read you guys that last quote there is for that last sentence that I read, or I guess the last half of that sentence. 6 months to a year before an athlete can fully return to action, and any return will invariably come with long-term limitations. That means that most certainly some of these procedures will have long-term effects on Joel Embiid. I don't know if that means like for just him just being a person and being a living creature, being a human just functioning, or if that means, hey, he's just not going to have the same mobility that he has in his knee. I'm not necessarily sure what that means. It was kind of vague. But with that being said, kind of to give you guys a little bit more insight into the knee injury that Joel Embiid has. Because it's not, most people nowadays, there's the two different types of meniscus surgeries. There's the one that's like the long-term one where it's like it's a longer kind of road to recovery. I feel like that one's like almost like a year-long recovery. It's probably like 10 months, I believe. Maybe it's shorter. I don't know. Again, not a doctor. And then the other one is like the shorter meniscus surgery where you're back on the court in like 6 weeks or back into action in 6 weeks. That's what Joel Embiid got last year. But the problem with that short-term one is basically, from my understanding, it basically kind of wears down the cartilage in your knee, and you basically can get rid of your entire cartilage. That's what happened with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade had the same meniscus surgery that Joel Embiid had, but Dwayne Wade actually had that in college at Marquette, and then ended up having like an NBA, NBA Hall of Fame career, crazy enough. So, and Dwayne Wade talked about that periodically throughout his career, that, hey, he had to manage his knee issues for his entire career. And he kept doing the thing, and that's what the Sixers and Joel Embiid were planning on doing with this. And they had to like routinely like drain his knee of fluid. Then they had to put like these like they'd have to give it another injection of these like I don't even know the word, but injection of stuff. I think it's like some sort of like blood caplets or something, I think was the word in the article. But the only difference between Joel Embiid and Dwayne Wade is Dwayne Wade's like 6'3", 6'4", maybe 6'5" at the most. A little bit of a smaller guy. Joel Embiid's 7'2". He's like the biggest dude in the NBA. I think he's the heaviest player in the NBA now that Boban's out. And you're telling me this guy that's had foot injuries, knee injuries, face injuries, he's been banged up in almost every way possible, is going to be turning 31 next month, and he might miss another year with a knee injury? This isn't good. This is not good for the Philadelphia 76ers one bit. And it's really sad. It's honestly sad. And I know we've been critical of Joel Embiid at times on this show, but this is just sad at this point. We're done seeing prime Joel Embiid. That's gone. That's over. Unless some miracle happens. Unless some sort of a miracle happens. Now, that doesn't mean he still can't play in the NBA, but his value in the NBA of being a top 5 guy, it's over. It's over. And probably Philadelphia's title hopes with him are probably over too. Because it's been thrown out there. And I know, like, I think Stephen A. Smith mentioned it on like First Take the other day. And basically, other people are kind of saying it too. I saw it online. It was like, hey, you know what? This knee thing, all these injuries that Joel Embiid's had in his career, he should just retire. He should just call it quits. Well, people forget Joel Embiid this offseason signed an extension with Philadelphia that's worth $250 million. I'll go ahead and show you guys again. If you've watched the show before, you know that I've shared this same numbers that I'm going to share with you here. After this year, Joel Embiid's owed $248.1 million over the next 4 seasons, $55 million next year, 59 after that, 64 after that, 69 after that. And with the escalating cap, it's basically around like anywhere from like I believe like 32 to like 35% of the cap. If he's a limited version of himself and he's taking up 35% of the cap, like the Sixers can't compete. And I mean, honestly, that's maybe like the least of our worries at this point. We just want him to get back on the court and be healthy. But from what I've read about meniscus tears and the specific tear that he's had, kind of the impression that I got reading the article, again, not a doctor, don't know much about meniscuses, but basically, and this is what Dwayne Wade again had to deal with, you got to be comfortable playing through pain. You got to be comfortable with that. You have to be comfortable with, just kind of doing all of these routines with your knee to make it stay healthy to play basketball at your highest level, or at least at a level. And that's just it's scary diagnosis here for Joel Embiid and the Sixers. This is like the season from, not just the season from hell for the Sixers, but it's the season from like the depths of hell, the bottom of hell, the rock bottom of hell, because this is absolutely devastating for Embiid and the Sixers. Yep. All right, that's going to do it for this episode here today. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second. That's going to do it for this episode here today. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw here today, again, hit subscribe. That is the number one thing you can do to help support the show. If you're going to do anything comment, like, subscribe. Subscribe's the number one thing I need out of you. So if you do that, I'll love you forever. Again, if you like the video, hit the like. That's how I know people enjoyed this content. And again, leave a comment with your thoughts. Would love to hear from you. And feel free to check out other videos on this channel. You might find something else that you like. Talking a lot of basketball recently. So thank you very much for watching. We'll talk to you next time.